I know that different families emphasize different expectations for their children. As a child, you may have been expected to have good self-discipline, or to be studious, or to be willing to help with chores or younger siblings. Maybe this one that I'm about to talk about wasn't a big expectation for you growing up, but it was very big in my family. You were never to bring shame on your family by doing something or saying something wrong. You, as a member of the family, had a duty to do honor to your family name. Anybody else here grow up with that one? I find that this attitude is less common in the Northwest than on the East Coast. My mother was raised by a New Englander, so it was drummed into her, and it was then drummed into me, that belonging to a family meant you needed to guard that family's honor. You needed to do the right thing, always. Because to mess up didn't just affect you. It affected everyone you were related to. And once that family honor is damaged, there's no fixing it. There's no going back and making it right. There's no do-over. High stakes. As Joseph grappled with the news of Mary's pregnancy, he surely must have felt the weight of the generations in his family, all expecting him to do the right thing. Do not bring shame on your family. Keep the family honor. And, it should go without saying, to marry a woman who was pregnant would be utterly shaming and shameful. You would be bringing a child into the family that you had no idea who its parent really was. What kind of a person were you adding to the bloodline? And equally appalling, who had this woman been seeing behind your back? Mary's pregnancy would damage the family honor as surely as it would hurt Joseph personally, and she would be with someone who was not him. It should have been an obvious choice to break the engagement. But the text tells us that Joseph did not decide this easily. We're told he had resolved to do this. Resolve means he had had to chew on it, puzzle it out. This decision cost him something. Even though it was what his culture and his family would think was the right and correct thing to do, to protect and preserve his honor and the family honor, to put her aside. Then Joseph had a dream. And in that dream, an angel told him, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife. Note this. In the first verses of this chapter, the writer of Matthew tells us that Joseph's father's name was Jacob. So why did the angel say son of David? Did the angel not know who Joseph's father was? No. The angel said son of David to convey to Joseph that if he was worried about what his family would think, he should know that his greatest ancestor, the one they took so much pleasure in counting on their family tree, King David, as in the King David, that King David would support Joseph keeping Mary as his betrothed. That David had had his own experiences with the holy and knew better than to mess with divine direction and divine ideas. Is that what convinced Joseph? The dream? The angel's words about who this child would be? Maybe, we can't know for sure. But I'm of the opinion that the angel argued for what Joseph wanted himself. He didn't want to lose Mary. Whether theirs was a love match or an arranged marriage, I think Joseph had decided that Mary was the partner he wanted in life. And he was glad and grateful that an angel in a dream seconded the motion. As a faithful man, perhaps Joseph was persuaded by the predictions of who this child would grow up to be. Who would not want to have their child named God is with us, a full and sweet sign that God loved the Jewish people and stood with them in their troubles and their joys. But I think that whether he was persuaded or not, what happened is that love colored outside the lines that society had made. Love said that this coming baby mattered more than all other details or considerations. Love said that Mary mattered more than societal dictums about honor or shame. Love mattered then. Love matters now. We're often encouraged to think in terms of what is most useful to us or for us. What will best answer a problem we face? What is the best use of our time or our money? What is the best path forward? What will make the most people happy or pleased or content? Sometimes love says we need to color outside the lines, to set aside what might be the most careful, most logical option, and go with the one that maybe makes less sense, at least at first glance. Sometimes love says we need to go with the possibility that resonates in our hearts, regardless of how sensible it might be. To spill love out and around in the most flamboyant, over-the-top ways. I would guess that most of us, at one time or another, have felt love pulling us to color outside the lines. To set aside our personal budget and buy gifts for someone whose tag hung on a giving tree at Ben Franklin or some other store. To consider a young person in our lives and make time to listen to their needs and put our own agenda or schedule on hold, or even toss that schedule aside. To listen to someone criticize government spending or the people who seek assistance and decide that defending people's right to food, shelter, and care matters more than keeping a relationship smooth or easy. To stop worrying about what the other person's going to think and to tell them that they matter, that they really matter to you. All of these are ways in which love calls out to us to do the less rational, less easy, less predictable thing. And what could be more irrational or hard or unpredictable than God coming to us as a baby born to poor parents, starting out life with very little. God colored outside the lines in a big way with Jesus' birth, risking God's self in a human world that had proved time and again its ability to be cruel and hurtful and evil. And still, our human world proves it can be cruel and hurtful and evil, and still God comes to us. Love colors outside the lines. Love says we're worth it. We are worth the risk. God comes to us. If God is willing to risk so much to come to us, what shall we risk as we follow our God's example of caring and acting on that care? What lines shall we ignore? How will love invite us to move beyond image